There's something quietly causing tension behind palace walls. As Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor edges closer to being forced out of Royal Lodge, attention has shifted beyond him and onto his daughters. Specifically, Beatrice and Eugenie, and their financial arrangements, their use of royal status, and what may lie ahead once Prince William becomes king. What's different this time is that the pressure is no longer coming from the press alone. It's reportedly coming from inside the family. And according to a royal biographer who has followed the Yorks closely for years, the sisters have already declined a direct request from Prince William that could have serious consequences for their future roles and titles. According to claims made by royal biographer Andrew Lownie on his podcast, Beatrice and Eugenie were recently asked by Prince William to submit to a financial audit. It wasn't a casual conversation or a vague suggestion. It was a formal request to review their financial material. Lownie claims they refused.
They did ask Beatrice and Eugenie to open up their finances and just have someone to look at them, and they both rejected it, correct?
They did.
He said they were asked if they would have their material audited by William, and they declined, adding that this does not send out very encouraging signs. That refusal, if accurate, immediately raises the question of why such an audit was requested in the first place. Lownie has been very specific about his concerns regarding the sisters. He has repeatedly stated that Beatrice and Eugenie were taken on trade trips when they were younger, trips that came at extra cost to the public purse. These were not ceremonial engagements, but commercial trips that exposed them to business networks overseas. According to Lownie, those trips helped them build what he described as a very useful contacts book, particularly in the Middle East and the Far East. He has also said there are numerous occasions where the sisters were out promoting their father's business interests abroad. Even recently, Lownie pointed out that Beatrice had been seen promoting a bank overseas.
The thing is, while they're princesses, they're earning large sums of money in the Middle East. We've seen Beatrice promoting a Saudi bank recently. We just don't know what's going on.
His implication is that their royal status may have opened doors that later became part of their private business careers. Lownie was blunt in how he framed it. He said that knowing what he does about the family, they do not do anything for free. That comment has been widely repeated because it goes to the heart of the concern. Where does royal duty end and private gain begin? The most serious allegation Lownie referenced involves a court case from 2022, often referred to as the Salman Turk case. According to Lownie, money was allegedly paid to one of the daughters, money that could not be clearly explained. He claimed the funds came from Salman Turk, a man who had been taken to court for embezzlement. It's alleged that the money was channeled through a daughter's bank account and that there was no transparent explanation for what the payment was for. This lack of explanation is precisely why William wanted an audit in the first place. So what happens when that request is refused? There are potential consequences, even if they cannot be enforced immediately.
That's interesting to me. So when Princess Beatrice and Eugenie go to the Middle East, for example, now they could both say they're there for their jobs. Eugenie, I believe, is in art, and Beatrice works for a bank.
Experts claim Beatrice and Eugenie's royal titles could be at risk once William becomes king. While King Charles and William clearly have different views on how to deal with the family, William appears far less willing to tolerate ambiguity around money, influence, and status. Lownie suggested that when William comes to the throne, there is a strong chance that all royal titles, apart from those held by his own children, could be removed. That would represent a dramatic shift in how the monarchy defines who is considered a working or protected royal. Housing is another issue that has drawn attention. Lownie has openly questioned why Beatrice and Eugenie continue to have access to flats at St James's Palace and Kensington Palace. These properties were renovated at public expense. And yet, both sisters have wealthy husbands and access to other homes. Lownie argued that if they are to retain access at all, they should be paying full market rent. He also suggested that grace and favour housing for non-working royals makes little sense under a modern monarchy.
Well, I'm there to talk art, I'm there to talk finances for my actual job, but when they go there, they're handed jewelry. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, I mean, we know, for example, I mean, of a case of Beatrice receiving a £18,000 necklace, so about $25,000.
Again, this aligns closely with what many believe William's long-term vision to be. What complicates everything is timing. As Lownie himself acknowledged, William cannot yet act decisively. While King Charles remains on the throne, there is only so much he can do. It's been described as a tug of war. Charles is reportedly keen to assert his authority and manage matters in his own way. William, on the other hand, appears more focused on reform, consolidation, and removing long-standing grey areas. But the direction of travel seems clear. What has also drawn attention is the pattern of Middle East connections continuing well into their adult lives, long after official royal duties had supposedly ended. According to Andrew Lownie, questions have been raised about whether introductions made years earlier evolved into ongoing relationships with Gulf-based financiers and business figures, some of whom were already considered controversial within diplomatic and banking circles. He has pointed to situations where money, advisory roles, or promotional work appear to overlap with jurisdictions known for opaque financial structures. The concern raised by critics is not tied to any single deal, but to the broader issue of transparency, particularly in regions where financial disclosure standards differ significantly from those in the UK. Lownie has said that this is why the Middle East continues to feature so prominently whenever scrutiny turns to the family's finances, as it is where the lines between royal association, personal opportunity, and private income are hardest to untangle. For the sisters, this moment feels unusually exposed. They are no longer simply the daughters of a disgraced royal being quietly protected. They are adults with business interests, financial questions, and privileges that are now being openly discussed.
From someone she didn't even know. And again, all these people are at, for example, Eugenie's wedding was filled with gangsters and dodgy dictators, as well as film stars she'd never met. And that's how they operate. There's a sort of laundering of their reputations through charity, a way that they use.
And the fact that they are said to have declined an audit request only sharpens the focus. It is also worth mentioning that while Beatrice and Eugenie did make a visible statement by attending Christmas with the wider royal family, which many saw as a deliberate distancing from their parents, that separation may be more symbolic than real. According to those familiar with the family dynamic, the sisters remain in regular contact with Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor and their mother, despite public appearances suggesting otherwise. That ongoing relationship is not unusual on a personal level, but it does blur the lines when questions about finances, influence, and accountability are already in play. Public gestures can suggest alignment with the crown, while private ties tell a more complicated story, and it is that overlap which continues to fuel questions. So here is the question I want to leave you with. If Prince William follows through once he becomes king, and titles, housing, and financial transparency are all put under stricter control, do you think Beatrice and Eugenie will lose their protected status entirely? Or will this, like so many controversies before it, eventually be smoothed over and quietly forgotten? Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and if you're not already subscribed, be sure to hit subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next video. Thanks for watching.